Hello everybody and welcome to your early look for today. Today, we're taking a look at a game that is self-described as a first-person action roguelike with a Lovecraftian influence and twist. And that game is called Eldritch, or Eldritch, however you want to pronounce it. I personally will probably be going back and forth between the two, but that's neither here nor there. Eldritch is by a studio called Minor Key Studios. It is their first game, and it is produced by two brothers, David and Kyle Pittman. What's notable about the two of them is they have worked in the AAA games industry for quite some time, working on BioShock, BioShock 2, BioShock 2. I think they were the lead AI director on BioShock 2, or at least the expansion for it. They've worked on the new XCOM that's come out. They have quite the repertoire, as it were, as far as AAAs, but they felt choked, they felt restrained by what the producers and developers of AAA games have done, so they decided to set off on their own, and they created this. And this was a surprising game because it was only announced a couple of days ago. We'll go ahead and hit enter here and get to the menu. It was only announced a few days ago at the time of this recording, but it's already taken on quite a life of its own. People seem to really like it, so I decided to email him to see if he was willing to give me a press code for the early look at it, and he said absolutely, so he sent me one over, and I figured I'd dive into the game, play for half an hour, and then maybe make a video on it, my first impressions. When I looked back up at the clock, 2.5 hours had passed, and I wanted to keep playing, so I figured I'd take a step back, start recording, and talk about why I think this game is incredibly fun. So let's hit play. We are going to start right here, but I'm going to head out real quick, and we are going to go ahead and hit resurrect. Yes, there we go. So this is the opening of the game. When you start it, you find out that you are stuck in a library. You went to your library to look up stuff of the old ones, the old gods. You were researching them for whatever reason, and over time you realized that there was no escape to the library. As you tried to leave, there was no exit. The library had taken on a weird and deformed shape with a new room over here. There's different floors to the library itself. There seemed to be twisting and turning in impossible ways, and your character has come to accept the fact that there is no going, there is no leaving for you. Now, there's a ton of books around the library that you can read. They're literally everywhere, and you can learn all about the library and its history. It's kind of cool. I've read a few of the books, and it's definitely neat. I like a lot of what they're going. I'm very much a Lovecraftian fan, which is why I liked Amnesia, Dark Descent a lot, and those kinds of games. And you can actually go into this mirror and change how you look. But I'm not going to worry about that. And then you realize that there's this book that opened itself up to you and took on this blue aura, and it transports you to another world, and you're basically dealing with Lovecraftian monsters and whatnot, gathering the souls of the old gods who are awakening, placing them on this pedestal, which will then open the door. Now, this is, of course, an early look, more of a press release for those to take a look at the game and show it off to the YouTubers and put their thoughts up on it. So I'm not entirely sure what will happen when I get all three pedestals. I'm sure there's a lot more to the game as it is, and what is beyond that door. But it is good to note that this game is slated to release in October for the PC. It's already on Steam Greenlight, and I highly doubt that it will fail its Greenlight campaign. I think the game is a lot of fun is in the way it looks and the way it plays, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So, like I said, you load up in the library, you can change your character the way it looks, you can explore the library a bit, but the real fun comes in this heading into the world. We're going to talk about this chest in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and enter, and we're going to load up into our first world, which has multiple floors, much like a lot of roguelikes do. One of the really good design choices this game has is its sound design. Whoa, there's a dude over there already. The sound in this game is incredibly important because it adds a layer of creepiness that I did not expect to actually have. That guy walked on the spikes and was totally fine. He's gonna come in. Ow! Shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna punch him to death. There we go. Added a layer of creepiness that I didn't expect. Actually, sound plays a big role in this game because unlike a lot of roguelikes, you can approach the game from many different angles. You don't have to just run around and kill everything you see. You can actually hit the C button and crouch. You can sneak through things as ways of causing distractions and distracting enemies around you. You can, for all intents and purposes, play this game on stealth mode. But we'll get to that in a little bit as well. Now, when you load up, you get the compass like I picked up, and the compass is going to show you on the map areas where there are important things, as well as show you where the exit is, which is going to be about 3 floors directly down. If we read this book, it's going to give you a little bit of an explorer's journal. This is somebody who has been here before you. Something quite peculiar has happened to me. I feel the need to record this in the event that I should not return. The last thing I recall, I was examining that curious book in the library, and now I have found myself in a dangerous world full of lurking monsters and treacherous traps. If my research is correct, then I am in a lost temple to the ancient god Dagon. A powerful relic is rumored to be kept in the depths of this world. Perhaps it holds the key to my escape. So, as you play, you're going to find these books that kind of dictate what happened to these explorers as you kind of go through it yourself. As you can see, I did kill an enemy. You're going to get a basic punch. You're going to probably notice that the aesthetic of the game is really basic. Very Minecraftian, I guess, is a way to put it, as that's, Minecraft is a big influence for a lot of things. But this, in no way, shape, or form, is anything like Minecraft. It doesn't even use a block system at all. It just looks somewhat similar in its aesthetic choice, but that doesn't really matter because Minecraft didn't do anything new as far as aesthetics are concerned. And either way, I use that comparison because it's the easiest to kind of bring a comparison to the forefront of your mind. So after you kill an enemy, you can loot the enemy, and he's going to give you usually these blue things that are called relics. Now, the blue things are used in two different circumstances. One, it's used as a currency to spend in shops, and two, it acts as a mana cost, or mana for your mana cost of spells that you're going to get later on. Throughout the world, things are going to be scattered, like this bottle, which I can throw, which can break and cause distractions. As you see, it's going to bring that Delver over here, is what he's called. I'm going to have him walk across that. Spike. There we go. And loot him up. And random things. I lost track there fighting that guy. These are some money that are going to also count as relics. But anyway, you can completely distract people with these bottles. You can throw them at them and hit them. But more important is what you want to find. I feel like bottles are useless for the most part. What you want to find are weapons in some sort. The world itself is randomly generated, which makes sense just because of the way it's laid out. Since it is Lovecraftian in nature, things don't necessarily have to make sense. They are kind of all over the place. You'll find doors that lead to rooms with more doors that will lead to essentially dead ends. You'll find doors that lead to more doors that then lead to a locked door. Sometimes you'll find a door that leads to another room like it should be in the real world, but that doesn't always happen. More often than not, at least in the early levels, as I've found, that you'll find guns and knives aplenty. Every gun will provide you with 3 ammo, as long as you have a gun equipped, and ammo can be incredibly precious later on in the game because of how tough the enemies can get. Enemies themselves wander the levels and kind of on their own accord in their own pathing system. They'll open doors and just continue to explore, looking for whatever seems to be making the most noise. If I crouch, I'll make less noise. If I hold down shift and run, I'll make more noise. You can hear them chanting themselves, mumbling, groaning, and that audio cue, the audio in this game, as I said, is incredibly important because it adds a level of eeriness and creepiness that is inherent in anything that is Lovecraftian in nature. And it feels like you're not alone. These things are almost, kind of just wandering at their own pace. But if we use the gun, as you can see, it's going to cause some noise, but it is going to be pretty effective. We're going to loot him in hopes that he had some gun ammo in him, but he did not. Another interesting design choice is that every time you kill an enemy, they will, if you loot them, they will respawn. So it adds this choice to the game that, do you want to loot an enemy? It depends on how hurt you are, I guess, but do you want to loot an enemy that will potentially respawn later on in the game? And the answer is almost always yes, because they're always going to have something that you're going to want or need, almost always. Speaking of, let's take a look at our inventory in the top left. The top left shows our health, which can be increased via fountains. It has those ancient coin things that I was talking about. The green thing is a key that you're going to use to unlock doors like this right here. And the bottom is, of course, your ammo. In the bottom right, it shows your ammo, or your weapons, rather, of which you can only carry 2 things. You can switch with the scroll wheel. And generally speaking, at least I've found, what you're going to want for the most part is a gun and a knife. Because punching is kind of shitty. It does the job if you don't have a weapon at all, but it's not the greatest. Now, you might be wondering, Mathis, what's your left hand for? What is that going to do? Well, as you go across the games, you're going to find monsters that look like, or statues rather, that have like the head of Cthulhu on it, and it will give you a spell. It is always a random spell as far as I've been able to tell, and this one is going to give me the ability to cloak myself. So if I right click, I can cloak myself, but it will use up 10 of my relics in order to do so. So I haven't actually used the cloak ability. I've actually had it given to me, but I've always traded it off at the first chance I've had. I don't necessarily find it the most useful thing in the world, as I don't find stealthing, at least this early in the game, really useful. What I found is I want to go through the entirety of all the floors, gather as much as I can, and then move on. But that's just the first floor. There's a reason I say that's just the first floor, though. The second floor, as I've discovered, is a lot more dangerous. But we'll get there when we get there. We're going to play through the first floor and kind of see what it has to offer, and then move on to the second floor afterward. One of the things that I really like is that it introduces something that a couple other roguelikes have done in the past, like Spelunky, for instance. That as the more you play the game, the more like floors you unlock. And we got our gun back. So in order to unlock the second floor, you need to do the entirety of the first floor. And then what that means is when you load up the game from now on, the book that will bring you to the second world will always be unlocked. But the downside is you will not have any gear. So it's always in your best interest to play through the first floor anytime you want to play, because it's going to allow you to loot and get a lot more items and basically make you stronger as you go. By the way, baked meat and fruit will heal you, while rotten fruit and rotten meat will have basically I think a 50-50 shot of healing you and doing damage to you. Looks like we have found the exit really early, but I don't want to go to it quite yet. I want to see if we can explore a little bit. The music in this game is relatively forgettable. It's a little creepy, a little weird, like quiet guitar riffs happening in the background. But generally speaking, the music just does enough to add to the ambiance, but not enough to really make an impact. You can find dynamite on the ground, which is used to explode things. You can destroy the world and open up shortcuts with dynamite and other methods throughout the game, as I am doing right now because I want to explore the rest of the floor. It looks like we have another statue over there, which I definitely want to go check out. And a shop, which is even better. We can show you the shop here. This thing right here is just annoying because it makes noise. That's pretty much all it does. And it looks like we have some money and some ammo in there. The question is, do I want to use my key? I think I will use the key and pick up pretty much everything inside here. We have some money and a rock, which is generally useless, but we can leave now. Alright, so we'll explore the rest of this floor. We'll check out the shop, and then we can move on down to the next one. I should use my key to head into the statue area. Now, there are ways to get over the wall if you can find them. Sometimes the world will spawn you a way over. Sometimes you'll have a spell that'll help you. Sometimes you'll just come across this key. But actually, what I'm going to do is switch it and just blow open a way in. That'll make it easier. I won't have to spend a key that way. And I can just grab the next spell. So this is going to be knock. Alright, so it's going to cost 7. So what knock does is if I point it at a door, it'll unlock it. Or if I point at anywhere else on the area, it'll cause a distraction. What this is going to be useful for is just unlocking locked doors. This fountain I'll drink from, and I'll increase my health by 1. That's what it does, and it heals me slightly, which is also useful. But let's head to the shop. Like I show you some of the items that are early on in the game that they produce. Come here, Delver. Now, I will say this game, like I said, does have a level of kind of eeriness and horror that is inherent into the Lovecraftian universe, but doesn't really pick up steam as far as the horror is concerned until later on, until the second floor. So, this, as far as I've seen, the shop on the first level always produces the same stuff. It'll give me this oh, that's actually different, the locksmith kit. 75 lets you open locked doors and put locks on doors for a small cost. That's useful, but it costs 75 to buy. We can buy boots, or we can buy the Conjurer's Talisman. It reduces the artifact cost to use special powers. Okay, so these are actually different. These are completely different than I said. So the items in the shops are, in fact, randomly generated. So we are going to have this guy here. I have found that it's easier to steal from dudes. And the reason I say that is because the shopkeeper doesn't always get mad. Like, the shopkeeper on later floors are not mad after you doing this. So you just steal from him. And generally speaking, there's no reason not to. There we go. 5 to lock a door. There's no real reason not to steal from him, as far as, at least in the first floor, just because he can't seem to do anything about it. Alright. You can kill him. As long as you have the bullets, you can kill him before he can get to you. And early on, the game isn't so difficult where you don't necessarily care about your ammo so much. Later on, it does, though. I will say hearing the enemies wandering and kind of reacting to hearing your noise does add a little bit of a fear factor. I have jumped a couple of times in the game, though the more I've played, the less scared I've gotten. It's not a horror game by any means. It's definitely more of a roguelike. The idea that these floors have, like, these levels have multiple floors to them, though, and that there's ladders and stuff leading up and down, that each level has 3 floors to it before you get down to the next part. Whoa! Shoot him. As I was saying, each floor has 3 levels before you move on to the next part, and each floor to the level has sub-floors. God, there's a lot of verticality is what I'm trying to say to this game, which adds kind of an interesting gameplay mechanic. I actually enjoy the idea that I have to pay attention to up and down as opposed to just the usual. You know, most kind of games like this, Isaac, or pretty much, I shouldn't even compare it to Isaac, but even Delver. Delver's another game that's similar to this. I just walked across the spikes. That didn't work out so well for me. Baked meat should help. Doesn't have the layer or this like verticality feeling to it that this one does, and I like that a lot. These guys are so easy early on. It forces you to kind of pay attention to your surroundings before kind of maneuvering onward. So we're gonna eat this baked meat, grab these artifacts here, and we'll move on. All right. So we'll just do a full run here and basically make this the early look, I think. The full run is really a lot of fun. We're not going to stick around and explore every nook and cranny there is to the game. I'm not doing like a Let's Play or anything. I am doing an early look. It will take, I think, some people, just because of how I know how people can be, a little bit to kind of get over the basic aesthetic that it provides or presents to the player. But I don't mind it at all. I mean, it's the use of colors is really good. Again, the audio cues are excellent, and it just generally doesn't. You know, it may look like it's kind of amateur-ish in the way it looks, but it's really not. Once you start playing and you realize the depth that is in the game, you'll realize that it is not amateur in the slightest. It's quite obviously well built and well presented. I like the idea that you can play through the levels in multiple different fashions. You can try and stealth, you can go guns a-blazing. I mean, it presents us a lot. And as you go on, there are enemies that are unkillable, that you can stun temporarily. There are enemies that work like the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who, which terrify me. And that's one of the ones that really kind of screws with me a little bit. Let's see, I've already lost myself a little bit. That's another thing that I actually kind of have a love-hate relationship with. I get lost and disoriented really easily, and I would assume that that's done, you know, purposefully for the most part. But it still, you know, can be a little frustrating when, especially if you give up your compass for another item. It can definitely be a little frustrating when you're kind of wandering around and just looking for the way out, and you can't seem to find where you are. I hear a skittering bug. I will drop. Oh, there he is. Oh no! I ignited the freaking explosive. Oh, God. That's not what I wanted to do, but I did it. If you do attack the explosive, it will go off, for lack of a better term. So try not to attack near an explosive if you don't want it to kind of explode. Whoop! God, that thing made me jump. I didn't know it was there. I was like, who's screaming? Why is there a woman screaming in my ears? There is a cool little slide thing. You can run and slide, which is always useful to get quickly under corners if you're running from something. I can't quite imagine what you'd be running from, but I imagine if you're running, it's for good reason. Nothing in here. Alright, I need to find my way out of here. Where's the exit? I have a compass, don't I? Where's my compass all gone? Did I accidentally drop my compass? I did. Oh. Alright, I'm going to keep the compass. I don't want the Conjurer's Talisman. I don't need it. There's a Delver. I can hear him jumping. 2 Delvers. See what I mean? The enemies that I've killed over here respawn because I keep looting them, which is fine because they're not difficult as it is, but it's definitely something to keep in mind as you're kind of going through. Alright. There is supposedly an exit over here. I was hoping it was going to give me a Destruction Amulet. There's another thing you can get that's called the Destruction Amulet, which turns your bullets into destruction, like your bullets will destroy terrain, which I find incredibly useful, especially when I myself get lost so easily. Let's see if we can actually blow up this wall right here. potentially go through there. Looks like we might have... Yes, we did. Alright, good. That helped. So we're just going to go to the next part. And we'll just see if we can get to a book. Alright, there is something terrifying going on over there. I don't know if I even know what that is. Some eyeballs. Oh, God, it's that thing. That is a monster that I've only encountered once. And there's some new enemies here. Every enemy has its own kind of pattern, too, by the way. But... Oh, God. That monster over there... Where's he gone? He's unkillable, and he eats through terrain. Which is why he's actually kind of a scary thing to encounter. I'd rather not deal with him if possible. I wasted 50 ammo on him the first time I came across him because I thought he was a boss. He is, in fact, just an obstacle. So if we can get through, I will be happy. He's in a graveyard. I'm curious if there's anything in there worth grabbing. There does seem to be a chest of some sort, or some sort of lockbox in there. We will use knock. Whoa, mother. Chill out. We'll use knock. Oh, well, I just fell. Never mind. And I think he just unlocked it. He did. He did just unlock it. Okay, time to go. We'll go through here. We're just going to try and lead him in a circle. And try to get away from him. So he's going to cause this whole another gameplay element that I kind of enjoy. Is he forces you to run. He's kind of annoying to deal with, but it's fine. That's the point, I think. I don't know what are the... I've only encountered him once. Like I said, it was on the final floor of this particular thing, but avoiding him seems like the best option, as I don't know what the point would be to stand up to him. You can't really do anything to him. I hope he doesn't really hunt you. I wonder if he hunts you through the entire level after you're doing it, after you're playing, because I only encountered him at the exit last time. Let's just knock. Oh, we'll get a bank chest. What we could do is deposit some of our mana. We can keep that for later. Yeah, we can save. We'll keep 20 of it. I can hear him. Ah, good. Lots of money. You'll often be presented with these choices of opening rooms, using your keys and whatnot to open these rooms, to basically grab all this cash or whatever items are in there. I'd say about 85% of the time it seems worth it, especially if you have knock. I mean, you're just going to spend a little bit of mana to get a ton of mana in return. I know I just used a key there, but I have an excess of keys because I have knock. I feel like knock is actually one of the most powerful spells in the game, if not the most powerful spell in the game, because of how useful artifacts are, being both a currency and your mana, because you can just use a little bit of mana like I just did, or like you could have done on that particular door, and open up a door that had a ton of mana in turn. Very, very useful for knock. Knock is an incredibly useful spell. There's some poison fruit. We definitely don't want to mess with that. There's some rotten meat. The deeper down you go, the more often you come across rotten food as opposed to useful food. We do have a eyeball there, which you can just shoot. They go down in one hit, but they also are obnoxious to deal with, and I'd rather not deal with them if possible. We'll go ahead and unlock this and see what we've got. Gonna grab that, and a knife and a rock. Rock is useless. If you're using rocks, you're in a bad spot, I will say that. A ton more mana over here. Though if you're trying to play stealthy, I could see it would be useful. So again, one of the things I really do like is the option to unlock those shortcuts. But I can only see them being useful if you're trying to speed run the game. And I feel like it'd be pretty hard to speed run this game with any sort of reliability, just because of how randomly generated the world is. Alright, let's see if we can get to the exit here and move on to the third floor. I feel like there's not much this current level can offer us anymore. If I come across an explosive, that'd be ideal. I could potentially just blow a hole right into there. Sometimes just finding the entrance to the room you're trying to get to could be a friggin' challenge in and of itself. Can we just shoot him? There we go. I'll use the knife onto that. I just don't know how I'm gonna get over there. I know I've been over in this area before, but sometimes you actually have to go back up in the rooms that you came in from before and look for a different way down. that's sometimes an answer, and a solid one, to your current conundrum. What I'm worried about is I'm going to come across Blobby Man, who is around, and I don't know where he is. So we're going to go actually open this now that he's not in here. I don't know. It's a locksmith kit, and I don't know what that green stuff is actually going to do, if anything. So I'm not going to spend too much time in here for fear of getting killed. You know, I am going to take the dynamite. I'm going to drop my knife because I know there's more knives. And I am going to, with hope, blow open a door. Oop, I just fell. That was a terrible idea. And I can kind of hear Monster Man around. My cat is being obnoxious. Now I have to use my gun, which is shitty. Because I don't have a knife. See, the trade-offs can be kind of a pain. But I am going to go all the way over here and see if I can find an easy way in. Oh, it's tempting to eat that fruit and gamble it, but at the same time, it's not entirely worth it. I want to see if I can find a good spot. Let's try and do it up here. Alright, let's do it. Kind of run. Run, run, run. Am I going to get out? Yes, I am. Now the question is, can I spend some time and find any health? Okay, we're going to get our knife back, which is good. But I'm more afraid of my health situation right now. I can hear doors opening. Kill that thing from a distance so it doesn't scream if I get close. I can hear him chabbering away, so let's just get out of here. We're down to the final floor of this level. Once we get down here, we'll get the soul, and we will be able to leave and move on, and I can show you the next floor. And I'll show you a little bit of the second floor. I think you've gotten a good idea of how the game plays. The responsiveness of the controls are perfectly tight right now. You know, the mouse sensitivity, at least the base mouse sensitivity for me, is right where I want it. And I like the idea at the beginning of every run, taking some of the artifacts that you've accumulated in your playthrough. And there he is. What the fuck? Shit. I hear a skittering dude. No. Oh god, he makes a pretty horrifying noise. I like the idea of, at the beginning of every one, kind of debating with yourself how much of your money you want to take on in the next run. Now, my only worry would be that at some point, you know, if you play this game long enough, you would make so much money that it wouldn't even matter. You could just take, you know, as much money as you want to have a successful run, and you have plenty in the bank, especially if you end up really loving the game and playing it a lot. I'd worry that there'd just be a bit of an exploitative situation there that might occur. But again, this is still in development. It's not quite out yet. You can pre-purchase this now and get the version I'm playing, in fact. So feel free. I'll try to remember to link it in the description below. My memory is awful, but I will do the best I can to remember it. I need to explore a little bit. I'm running a lot in this game right now because there's a freaking invincible monster around that I'd really rather not deal with, who will kill me if he gets the opportunity to do so. I mean, who wouldn't? I'd kill me if I had the opportunity. Alright, anything over here? Alright, we're just gonna head down this way, I think. I love the sighing, by the way. They just sound so disinterested in life. Let's see what this gives me. The knock is nice, but let's see what else we can get. We're gonna get cloak. That's shitty. Now, the spell automatically does replace the spell you currently had, so it's kind of a gamble if you want to give up your spell. If you get a spell you really like, you might not want to give it up, which is understandable, but sometimes you could be passing up a spell that might be situationally a lot better than what you have. I still feel like knock is absolutely the most useful spell in the game right now, but it's something to think about. A little bit nervous. With only one hit point left, I don't want to be risking too much. I can hear him out there. He's in the level somewhere, hunting me down, which is actually kind of an eerie thought. I can hear a delver walking around out there too. Oh, hey, buddy. Down you go. I would love to take that with me, but I don't want to give up my knife. I think I'd rather, especially with only 1 health right now, I think I'd, oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Fountain. Gonna bring my health up to 5 and heal me a little bit. What is that noise? Outside of the moaning, of course. I thought I heard a different noise, which is why I said, what is that noise? Somebody steamed me. It's getting steamy in here. Let's see. Jokes. Okay, this is where I dropped down. That means there's still a couple of squares to explore. Hell no. Hell no. Well, I might have to. Let's just fucking do it, man. Ah! Alright, you're fast. Hopefully I'm faster. Ah! Run! Alright. Still alive. He's still coming. Just drop. Just drop, drop, drop. All the way down. There's another one down here? That's the first. Okay, I've encountered 3 of them. That's more than I've ever encountered in a game. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill you guys. You're already hurt. You do come across dead enemies every so often. That was actually probably a bad idea to go in there, but that's fine. I'll use a key. I don't want to trap myself. That's actually could have been an awful decision on my end. But we survived. Alright, let's, Alright, I could just do that. And where am I? And rather not deal with you right now! Alright, I think we got it. I think we got to the exit. We did. We got to the exit. Here we go. So we're going to grab this soul. It's the soul of Dagon. And move out of here. So what we could do now is, if you were the first time playing, you'd use that soul to unlock this book. And then you go put it on this pedestal. So yeah, who knows what that's going to do. It's showing me the exit. It looks like it's the exit to the library. I guess that's going to be the end of the demo if I get to do it. But now we go to level 2, which gets a lot more creepy. A whole new aesthetic, a lot brighter. But a few more enemies that are introduced. Scarier ones. Ow! Asshole. And I'm hoping I come across them to show off some of the newer enemies here. God, you can hear them in the distance. A lot creepier for sure. Alright, he's dead. I don't know how he died. I don't know what that thing is. It's some weird, like, broken record noise going on. Which is also incredibly terrifying. We got some meat at least to heal up. A key. We could jump over the spikes. And we're back at the beginning. Alright, so this is basically pretty new territory for me. Because, oh, that looks like a trap. I say new territory because I didn't last long. Okay, fuck you. See that statue? Yeah. I'm not going near it. That thing will attack you when you turn your back. Alright. So, I don't know the way these levels work quite yet. I'm still working on it. You can hear some weird hissing going on. Ah, a couple monsters. A couple respawn monsters. I might want to leave them dead, actually. Oh, fuck. So watch. If I do that... Oh, no. Maybe not. I'm not going to go near it, though. I'm really nervous around these things. They freak me out. I'm going to keep my eye on him, essentially, and hope he does not attack me. Alright, the next floor. Seems to be good. Whoop, almost took some damage there. Alright, that's fine. Alright, I'm going to start using my knife a little bit. I want to conserve some of my ammo. Okay, these things. Oh my god, these things. These don't die. These don't die. They just take a hit and go down for a moment. So you gotta hit them and run. There's no way to take them down. At least not to my knowledge, anyway. And they make creepy noises and freak me the F out. Oh yeah. Good stuff. Alright. So we found the exit already. Let's just see how far we can get. Oh, headshot. Booyah. There's a door that's locked. It is. Oh, I cloaked myself. Oh, crap. I forgot I had cloak. That's really shitty. So the thing about Cloak is the enemies can still hear you. They just can't see you. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So you have to keep that in mind when you are cloaked. Cloak actually might be a little bit more useful than I'm giving it credit for. I probably should use it a little bit more, especially around those other statue enemies. And I really should stop using ammo. Really, really should. I would like to see if I could find a shop in here. Just because I'm curious if the shops on the lower floor sell something completely different. Oh, F you. These things are utterly creepy looking. Props to the art designer, at least on these guys. I can kind of forgive the art style too, because, you know, indie developers not necessarily art majors or 3D modelers. These guys take 3 knife hits. That's shitty. I haven't come across any statues on this level, which is useful. Oop! Nope, there he is. Shit! So watch. Shit. I'm real nervous with this guy. Keep looking at him. I'm stuck here. Shit. Alright, so... Can I just leave? Alright. I think I'm safe from him. Yeah, when he makes that like crack noise, you've completely you've activated him. But I'd rather not deal with him right now. I'd really rather not. He actually scares the crap out of me. Yep. This is a maze of them right now. Which is really... Ow. And there he is. Well, when I hit Resurrect, we lost 105 of our ammo and every other piece of item and gear that we had. But that's the way of roguelikes. Overall, final thoughts, I really am digging it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of right up my alley as far as indie games are concerned. Another excellent example is why indie games are just super awesome. Looks like you lose this thing too, which is shitty. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's obviously a lot of work to be done on it still. There's going to be items added and whatnot. But if you can overlook the graphical kind of prowess that this game is presenting, there's a lot of fun to be had here. The game is $15 to pre-purchase as it stands, and I think it's well worth it, especially if you're into this kind of thing. I will be playing a lot more of this game as I go. I'd be curious to see what other levels he ends up introducing to the game and what other story elements he has. It's already a ton of story here. It's already been in development for quite a while, as you can see. And October is going to be coming up quick for the full purchase, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the final product. I really, really like it. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those games where gameplay completely overtakes the fact that it doesn't look that good. It's creepy. The noises, the ambient noises, the sounds of the enemies wandering the level really add to that immersion, which is important in a Lovecraftian influenced game. I'm just generally really happy with how it looks. I could nitpick, but I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm just the kind of guy that presents a very positive outlook on things. That's just how I am. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, hit that like button. It helps me a ton. Feel free to subscribe to join the Horde, and as always, I will see you all next time.